And you spoke very fondly about your wife before we turned the cameras on. How much has she been through this journey?
She's been brilliant.
There you go, brownie points for you.
Yeah. She'll be surprised that I spoke very fondly of
Well, you did, you know, he did, he genuinely did. Let me ask you, in terms of head count here,
Yeah.
how many are you now?
So when I came in, it was 101, and we're now on 130. So obviously we took on the warehouse next door, and with that we've had to beef up resources accordingly.
And how do you find the pressure of that? Do you feel the weight of all those mortgages?
Depends if I think about it.
Sorry.
Yeah, of course, yeah. You do, but then I actually look at it in a different way. In if I hadn't have come in, because the opportunity was right for me, timing is everything, then there's a good chance the business might not have been here.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
they would have had a
whilst I
different
have
journey.
that responsibility for them, me coming in has actually been a great thing for them.
Yeah.
But you know, it needs a culture change, and we're getting there. With that, you have to change things. It's just the way it is, isn't it? You know, the ethos of the business is very different now, I hope, to what it was before. I'm not saying it was bad before, but you know,
Things evolve.
Things evolve, and I'm a big believer in everything starts from the top. So I said to you earlier, you know, if I'm walking around the car park and I'm kicking an empty can around saying everything's rubbish,
Yeah.
then
That will spread.
it all falls down. And I was very conscious in the guys that I brought in, the management team, that they have to have the same ethos as me. You know, I didn't panic. I didn't, you know, I pinpointed the people I wanted.
When we walked around before, and you showed me about, one thing that struck me was that regardless of rank, if you like, people were just saying hi Ollie, which was good that they recognised you.
Yeah.
But no, genuinely, I could feel that they felt that you were approachable.
Yeah.
And I think you only get that by being an open person.
Yeah.
And obviously, this being on LinkedIn, you've been very open on LinkedIn. And I wanted to touch on that. You've been very open about your feelings and what you've been going through, and if you know people haven't joined or have joined, or if things aren't going quite how you would have scripted. And also, I think you've been criticised for that. Do you regret any of those comments or being that open?
Not really, because it's me. Listen, whatever you do, you get criticised for. You know, you're never going to please everyone. I've got a couple of mates, especially, who'll be taking. Sorry, I can't swear. Taking the mickey out of me for this. But you know, I know that they want what's best for me. You know, it's just. But do I regret any of it? No. I probably regret a couple that I put on, but I deleted them.
Yeah.
But I'm a heart on the sleeve man. I have strong feelings. Again, if I feel I've lost trust or loyalty with someone, then people need to know that.
And do you feel, well, let me put it to you this way, how do you feel when you hear that people have found your comments, you know, really helpful or inspirational?
I've had so many messages, people saying I'm inspiring. It blew my mind. It was just, listen, I'm just Ollie from Ipswich, you know.
Yeah.
I'm nobody special, but it's lovely. It's really nice, and people, you know, I genuinely don't know how I inspire people. To be honest, do I inspire people by being honest and saying how it is? It's not difficult to do that, is it?
I think people do find it hard, and I think if you're brave enough, as you have been, to put those comments out there, then it's a good thing. Yeah. And certainly from my point of view, long may it continue.
I'm working with a really nice lady on all the SEOs for the business, and didn't even know what an SEO was, to be honest, until she told me. You know, and she's always telling me to be more positive in myself, because I'm quite self-detrimental. So I'll always oh, I'm rubbish at this or whatever. I've always been like that. You know, I've had people tell me I'm rubbish at things. That's probably why you get that in your brain. But LinkedIn it can't be all smoke and mirrors, is it? You know, if I just put the good things all the time, then is it a bit boring? It's not true.
Yes.
You know, yes. People say you want to sell your business. Why are you saying that you've had a bad week and this and that? But if I said, oh, it's a brilliant week, and you know, I don't know. It's just the way I always am. You know, I'm always pretty open, and if that bites me in the bum one day, then, as I said to you earlier, every decision I make here, I live or die by it.
Yeah.
The way I've decided to get the business, to get these experts in, you know, in 12 months, 24 months, if it's the wrong decision, there's only one person to blame, and that's me. Isn't it?
And part of that growth, rebirth, if you like, has been around not just your personal image, but also the branding, the livery, the famous green wall. Why green? I promised I'd ask you, so why green?
So when my father started Magnus Transport in 1973, the year I was born, all his trucks were green.
Okay.
And it was kind of the identity. He had an identity. It was Paul Magnus of Paul Magnus Transport. You know, he was probably a reasonable name in Felixstowe, quite well known, not always for the right things, I think. But then over the years, when he sold 40% of the business, the business lost its identity. It wasn't Paul Magnus Transport, it was Magnus Group, of which he was a 40% shareholder. Now, me coming back in 2019, you know, it was a nice synergy of actually let's try and go back to 19, because I mean I wasn't obviously working in the 70s, but everything you see in the 70s was fun. You know, you work hard but you play hard. It's all become a little bit sterile now, and I am very much, my wife would laugh at this, but I'm very much the work hard, play hard.
Yeah.
And that's how I want this business to be. I want people to work for the business because it's fun, but it's a serious business, don't get me wrong, you know, but you can have fun if you're successful.
Yeah.
But actually make it a fun place to be and bring an identity back, you know. For 20 years, Magnus Group has had no identity. The trucks are white, the old logo was boring. One of the first things I did was bring, so the M of Magnus is part of the old PM logo from 1973. So actually, it's quite a nice synergy of coming back, and I bought the old logo back, or part of the old logo, and the green. Now, the green wall, but it gives you an identity. It makes you slightly different, and I think it's a no-brainer. You know, the trucks now. As I said earlier, I had one of the new trailers out, the black and the green, really nice, smart trailers, and I had 4 or 5 phone calls from people saying, "I've seen one of your trailers out in the A14 or the A12." I didn't want to tell them we only had one, but as of the end of this week, we'll have 32 of them.
It's that brand perception, isn't it? And it grows and grows.
But it's visual, isn't it? You see it. You know, it's your best form of advertising as a transport business is your curtains. So why wouldn't you have a decent branding and livery?
Yeah. And do you think you've always had this high, strong self-belief?
No.
Can I pick at that?
No, definitely not. I used to have when I was at school.
Yeah.
Then I kind of lost it along the way. Made a couple of decisions that affected that confidence, shall we say, along the way. But in the last 18 months, being here has been brilliant for me, because I've had a few years of not being told I'm good at something or whatever, and to come here and actually prove it to myself. That's the person you need to prove it to is yourself. It doesn't really matter whether you prove it to anyone else. If you don't prove it to yourself, then why would anyone else believe in you?